What are the dangers associated with muscular imbalance? This was an email question that came in from Mark this week, and I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that muscular imbalance is more about trying to get joint neutrality. I don't want to start this video out and confuse anybody, but I do want you to be aware of the idea that when someone's chest muscles, like say a freestyle swimmer, becomes extremely strong and over dominant, what happens is instead of the shoulders being into a neutral position, the chest muscles, the pec major, major and minor, teres major, teres minor, they'll start to roll the shoulders forward, which now puts the muscles in between your shoulder blades, known as your rhomboids. It puts us into a constant state of work and what we refer to as muscular fatigue. So if I can get the tension out of the front of the muscles in the chest, what that allows the joint in the shoulder to do is come back to anatomical neutral. Now, we've talked about this in other videos. The reason why that's so incredibly important is if a muscle is extremely tight, it's as if you're going down the street and I'm holding onto your shirt. If you're riding your bicycle, if you're running, you're riding your skateboard, if I'm holding onto your shirt, I'm making the muscles have to work harder, which increases the core body temperature. Heat is a robber of energy in the body, just like it is in a mechanical device. I'm going to burn more calories. I'm going to have a higher sweat rate. I'm going to have a higher loss of electrolytes through my sweat. Loss of electrolytes means the muscles become progressively less and less able to muscularly contract. So now I've got a higher core body temperature. All of those things that I just mentioned increases the overall stress on the system. Now, let's stop and think about this. When you're trying to become efficient as a human being walking from point A to point B, the less tension and the less power struggle that you have, the easier it is and the less fatiguing it is. So whether you consider yourself an athlete or not, you want to be able to move without pain. So if you have knee pain, we need to look at the strength and the flexibility ratios of the quadriceps and the hamstrings. If you have a problem with your shoulder, I need to look at the muscles in the front of the chest and the back of the shoulder. If you have chronic headaches all the time, I want to look at that muscular imbalance between the back of your neck and the front of your neck. These muscles in the front of your neck are called, the acronym is SCM, sternocleidomastoid. When you get in a car accident, you get whiplash and your head goes backwards. These are the muscles that get overextended. That's why they put you in a donut. Believe it or not, we see a lot of chronic headaches and migraines because there's a tremendous amount of tension in the back of the neck. A lot of people don't realize there's a filament of muscle that goes up and over this cranium. And then if you've ever had those dreaded headaches behind your eyes, I'm not saying all the time, but a majority of the time we can release the tension behind the eyes by working on the tightness in the upper shoulders. So be very, very keen of joint neutrality is never going to be achievable unless the muscle tension on the front and the back of each joint is going to be balanced. If you have elbow pain, we've got to look at the ratio of strength and flexibility for both bicep and tricep. You can go joint by joint by joint. Now, if you happen to consider yourself an athlete, and then we move into the realm of biomechanics specific to athletic performance, it only becomes that much more important. Because if you're trying to get into an anatomical position and the muscles have a strength and or flexibility imbalance, so if you're, for those that ride motorcycle, if you're trying to come into a corner and not dab your foot, is that a muscular strength issue? You keep dabbing your foot because the quads, the top of your legs, are not strong enough? Could be. Or is it that the quads get so tired resisting against the tightness in your hamstrings, and so eventually the hip flexors, the quads, they can't keep up with the fatigue, so the foot drops. And you dab your foot, then you blow your knee out. That's why I love these types of questions. You guys have questions that have so much more to the question itself, and it goes over all broad spectrums of sports. It goes over all types of personalities. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, whether you consider yourself an athlete or not, because we always say if you can't move without pain, you'll never be able to perform at a level of excellence. It's just a basic fundamental that we all need to embrace. Thank you so much for the question. The number of questions that are coming in and the subscription rate is going through the roof, and I cannot tell you sincerely enough how much everybody here at CoachRobb.com appreciates it. We want to make sure that we're answering your questions. There's just such a plethora of misinformation on the internet nowadays, and people are literally hurting themselves, and we want to try to alleviate that. We're seeing athletic careers being negatively affected, and we want to stop that as well. If you happen to have a question, feel free to send it in. Contact@coachrob.com. And please note, even if you've sent in a question before, there's no limit. As you progress as an individual and as an athlete, you're going to peel back new challenges. Send them in. Let's talk about them. As you grow and develop, we want to grow and develop with you. So thank you for taking time out of your day for watching this video. We're going to put a new video out tomorrow morning, and we hope to see you then.